YouTube, welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, in today's video I'm going to be showing you 3 games in which I've recently played. This is turning into a little bit of a series now where I recap my best games of the week and we go over them together because, my word, do I show some horrific level of chess in other videos. So, it's only fair that I show you guys the ups and the downs as well. In these 3 games, I play between like 91 and 96% accuracy, so some really high level chess. Please, guys, stick around for the 3rd game, whereby we play at just over 96% accuracy. And my word, some of the rooks we sacrifice, some of the queens we sacrifice in today's video is absolutely insane. So please do stick around, watch it all. Like the video if you enjoy, subscribe if you are new. Guys, let's jump straight into game number 1. So, you beautiful people, for game number 1 we have the black pieces, okay, and we're playing up against Ricardo from Espanyol, from Spain. Currently in this game I was rated 1372. We've since gone up to like the mid 1400s, so we are showing some constant improvement, which is nice. It feels good, because sometimes you hit a real slump in chess. But our opponent starts with e4, so we respond with the very disciplined e5, just about as symmetrical as you could possibly ever get. Our opponent then plays bishop to c4, so this is a bishop opening. They're just preparing their castling as quickly as humanly possible. I then play knight to c6, just to reinforce my centre pawn. Knight goes to f3, and then bishop comes out to c5, and we go into this Gioco Piano game, which is like a variation of the Italian, which is about as symmetrical as you can get. There are ideas of white playing like c3 and d4, and then for black it's just all about getting your pieces out, getting developed, and then getting short castled. It's one of the most played openings in chess. I'm not gonna insult you guys by explaining any more. Our opponent plays d4. Now, worth noting here that there are actually a couple of really cool lines in this opening that I looked at after reviewing this game. So let's say I took back with the pawn, for example. Then there's actually the move knight to g5, and you'll notice that there's a lot of pressure on f7 currently. So a move like knight to h6 would obviously prevent the threat here. But they can actually sacrifice the bishop, and, I mean, position's completely equal still, but it's a really fun line whereby I then would take the bishop, they would take my knight, and then I'd take, and you might be thinking, hang on, you're just up bishop. But no, because of queen h5 check, forking my king and my dark squared bishop. So some really fun lines in the Gioco Piano. I don't know why I say it like that. But I did in fact take back with the bishop. And then my opponent played c3, just kicking my bishop away. So I just hobble on back, and then they decide to sack their bishop. Now this is just absolutely horrific. Clearly they'd got confused with the lines, and this is why I actually went and game reviewed this opening so in depth, and found this line where you can sacrifice the bishop, because, I mean, my opponent clearly just got the move ordering wrong and wasn't 100%. Which is absolutely fine, of course. But I, of course, just take this bishop back because I was unsure of what was really going on. They then play this move queen to d5, but it's not really a big threat. I just go queen e8. And they obviously can't pick up the central pawn because defended by my knight. They probably could have taken with the knight, though. I'd imagine that was the best move, because then I can't really take back because of this check. I mean, I'm still completely winning, but it's not as clear. But my opponent short castles anyway, and then I develop my knight. They drop their queen all the way back, and then I play d6, just opening up my light squared bishop. So from here, my opponent plays bishop to g5, looking to pin the knight. Bishop goes to g4. I mean, it's about as symmetrical as you can get, but I'm just up a piece now. So, like, things get real simple. Queen goes forward to d3. I then slide my rook over. They shuffle their knight back, kick the bishop away. They opt to trade. And this is already looking very scary for white. You'll notice that I have a lot of pressure on this f2 square. My light squared bishop's very active, controlling squares around the king. It's very uncomfortable for white. And now, before I show you this absolute gem of a move after they play knight to b3, I'm going to have a quick sip of tea. You really cannot beat a good cup of tea. But my word, in this position, I found the absolutely brilliant queen takes on f2. I mean, it was an absolutely insane move to find. How long did I spend on this? But I spent about a minute 10 seconds on this move, because I was so scared. Obviously, if the king just goes over, then it's obviously just mate, forced. So the king cannot just go over. So they have to take my queen. So they do take the queen. And now you're probably thinking, okay, so you take back with the bishop giving a check. No, you actually take with the rook, threatening discovered checks, because if the king slides over, again, what would I then play? Like, probably like bishop e2? And it's like, well, now you have to lose your queen, because otherwise I'm just going to checkmate you. And if you were to go here, I'd just take your queen. So, like, absolutely killer idea. They play this move no, they don't. They bring their other knight out, sorry. I was going to say h3, but they bring their other knight out, opening up the rook. So now there's no threat of back rank mate. But there is this threat of discovered check, opening up my dark squared bishop onto the king and winning the queen. So now I'm up 9 points of material. I mean, I'm up a rook and a bishop. It's unbelievable. I mean, they trade things off now, and it's like these trades are not benefiting. And after I play king e7, which blocks the rook from coming down and infiltrating because my king now guards these squares, my opponent resigns because there is just simply no chance. I'm up a rook, a knight, and a pawn. Like, it's absolutely done. So that's game one for you guys, whereby we sack the queen. Absolutely beautiful game. And now game number two, we have the black pieces again. So you're noticing a pattern here. I'm pretty darn good with the black pieces, I'm not going to lie. Our opponent plays e4, and I go in for a Caro-Kann. And they go for this sort of advanced variation. It's a little bit different. I'm just developing my pieces. And we do make this trade early on where I have double pawns on the c file. But that's not really a big worry for me, because I can just sort of push on and just, you know, dominate this centre. So it's not really that big of an issue. My opponent short castles. I bring my bishop out. These are all very common moves in the Caro-Kann. And then they play d4, so I of course take this pawn, and now I no longer have double pawns. There's a semi-open b file on my side, semi-open c file on their side. No real imbalances anymore, so like I said, the double pawns weren't a big issue. e6 is played, they bring their queen out, I bring my knight out. And here they play bishop to g5, pinning my knight to my queen. But after a move like h6, I mean, you just have to trade off really anyway. I short castle, and then they play rook a to b1. Now, this is obviously a huge blunder. If you notice, we are 14 moves deep. I've only spent about 29 seconds. My opponent had only spent about 30 before this move, because we're both clearly very comfortable in the Caro-Kann. I mean, it's just one of those openings where the more repetitions you get, you can just start blitzing all these moves out. But this is obviously a blunder because of the move bishop to f5, which I find skewering the queen and the rook. So, I mean, I was very happy when I found this. I thought, wow, this is some free elo. And I wasn't quite 1400 yet, so this was my game for 1400. They play queen e3, which is the best move. I, of course, just take this rook. They take back with their other rook. And then I play f6. Now, I knew as soon as I played this that this was a mistake. I thought it was a blunder, but luckily it's only given as a mistake. We're still completely winning. But you know when you play a move and then you see a new line, you're like, oh my god, what have I done? What have I done? So it's not actually for the reason I thought, though. I mean, for the engine just wants knight a4. But I was thinking it was this, and then you take this pawn. But after king h8, this is absolutely fine. Also, if they take this pawn, I could just take with the rook. So not a big issue. It's not a mistake for the reasons I thought, and luckily my opponent just plays rook e1. So I basically get all my advantage back now. They have a very strong knight. I move my queen over to defend this pawn on c6. Felt like that made a lot of sense. They slide their knight over, hitting my rook. So just slide my rook up to attack the knight. They drop back. And I just thought, well, that's a free knight. I mean, I have two attackers, you have one defender. So I took the knight and they resigned. So this one, not as long, and I've really saved the best till last in terms of the games. But yeah, I mean, we didn't really earn our advantage in this game. In the last game, we sacrificed the queen, and it was absolutely gorgeous, brilliant tactics. This one, they sort of just gave it to us, which is quite common at my level. I mean, as long as you don't blunder anything catastrophically, chances are you will win the game. So I did get 1400 elo from this game, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. Quite a significant moment. But game number 3, guys. I played at 96, 97 accuracy for, let me just see how many moves it was. Over 20 moves. That is I will never have a game this good again, I don't think. My word. My opponent plays c4, and I've actually been working on my repertoire against the English. So I was actually really happy to play up against it because I've been practicing it a lot. I obviously play e5. They play this move a3, which is a bit of a niche sort of opening in the English. I play knight f6. They play knight c3. And then I play d5, just looking to trade off in the centre, which my opponent does. They then play e3, maybe preparing d4 at some stage. I just bring my bishop out, they bring their knight out, so I play knight to c6 to defend this pawn on e5. From here, my opponent plays bishop to b5, pinning my knight to my king, so I just go ahead and take this knight. They then take back with the pawn. I play queen f6, defending this pawn when this knight is taken. Thought it made a lot of sense. They then short castle, so I play the move bishop to g4, basically pinning this knight. They drop back, and then I bring my bishop. Now, I wonder if I was actually meant to just play e4 here. I've not actually reviewed this game, I only saw the rating. e4, okay, it's not actually the best move, it's just a good move, but it does look pretty crushing. I guess then you play like knight to d4, and then, wow, just h5, setting up this like fishing pole tactic, whereby like, if takes, I've got this open rook, the queen's about to infiltrate, and this pawn on g4 is about to push. That's terrifying. So that's a fun little line. But after they drop back, I just play bishop to d6, they play e4, and then I play h5, setting up the fishing pole idea. They play d3, I push again, so I'm literally just marching this pawn up the board. And bishop g5 is the first sort of big mistake of the game, because I can just play queen to g6. And it's like, I have so much pressure, and you can't take this, so it's a bit of a wasted move from my opponent. And they do take this, but I think they just completely forgot. Like, obviously, if I just took like this would be catastrophic, and I'd be completely losing these trades, and that would not be very good. But I think they just completely missed bishop takes the knight, and you remove the defender of this bishop on h4. So yeah, there's nothing defending. They take back, I then take, and when they play g3, threatening my rook, you'd think, okay, he's got to move his rook back somewhere. No, because this pawn actually can't take the rook because my queen is pinning it to the king. So there's nothing they can actually really do. I go ahead and long castle, getting my king to safety, but the main idea is just to bring this other rook over to h8 and get double stacked, and it's terrifying. My opponent plays king h1, so breaking the pin, so now this rook does have to drop back, because otherwise they can now take. So I drop back to h6. My opponent lifts their queen, putting pressure on the middle of the board, maybe preparing to push some pawns. Also putting pressure on this rook, I guess. So I go ahead and double stack. Now, my opponent plays h4, which is a very natural looking move, basically meaning I can't now take because they just take back. So it's very difficult to actually find the winning moves here. But luckily, the first thing that ever comes to my mind in positions like this is just sacrifice, okay? Can I sacrifice a rook? Because I want to make these videos as entertaining for you guys as possible. And it turns out I can. I just take the pawn. Just completely sacrifice the rook. If they take back, it's checkmate, because then I take with the rook and I have all of these squares covered, so my opponent is just dead. So here they'd have to play like this, and from here I'd probably play like, I don't know, bishop to c5, and then you still can't take. I'm putting pressure on this diagonal as well. Oh, sorry, let me draw a proper arrow. There we go. But after this, my opponent does in fact take back, which is a huge mistake, blundering mate in one, which I do find. So this move, rook takes on h4, absolutely gorgeous move. Sacked a queen in the first game, sack a rook for the win in the third game. My word, guys, I thought I'd share these 3 games with you. Let me know how you think I got in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.